Probably one of the biggest ones just to get my law license was COVID in 2020 is the year I graduated. So they shut down school in March of 2020. It was all virtual from March to May.
Oh, shoot.
And I was scheduled to take the bar in July. Mind you, at this whole time, we just had a loss. My grandma passed in May of 2020. My son was born June of 2020.
Oh my gosh.
And this whole time I'm studying for the bar exam. Well, then in June, they pushed the bar exam back to September. Now I have a newborn and I have a great picture. It's me in my study room studying for the bar, and I have my son Emilio, and he's a couple days, and I'm studying for the bar. And to me, that was probably one of the greatest challenges, but greatest accomplishments that I ever experienced.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. We are here with Ambrosio Castellano. Did I mess that up?
No, nope. Perfect.
And today we're going to talk about his business, his law firm, and get to know a little bit more about him. And I'm excited to have him here. And this is another episode of What's Good New Mexico Style. So I'm going to stop talking and go ahead and introduce yourself, Ambros.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm really appreciative of you guys coming down and doing this with us. Yeah. And my name's Ambrosio, like you said. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas, New Mexico. We started at Advise Law Firm. I'm a partner at Advise, attorney at Advise. And that's pretty much a little bit about me so far.
Sick, man.
But, yeah.
No, well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for the opportunity. Like I was telling you, like when we we're trying to get this set up, like I don't have any content if you guys don't do this. So I really appreciate it. And it's always nice to be able to talk to peers that I admire that are doing awesome things and like motivate me, right? And like that, like, I see you're doing amazing stuff. And so I'm like, man, that's cool. That pushes me to want to do better. So thank you again for having us. And yeah, man, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna get into this.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
So go ahead and like, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like how did you get into wanting to do this, and like what made you, go down this career path, I guess?
Well, it's a pretty funny story. It's a little interesting, but I got my BA here at Highlands, mm-hmm. right? And me and my partner Julio Garcia, who's our managing partner, founder of Advise. We used to joke and we used to say, UCLA law, we always want to go to law school during our BA years. And after my BA, I got burned out with school, man. It was one of those where I had too much of it. And I started working for the state of New Mexico. I was a probation parole officer for 2 years. Oh, yeah. And I had a great time. It was a very rewarding career. It was different. It was an interesting job because anybody that walked through the door, it was a project, right?
Yeah.
You want to help them find employment. You want to help them find a home, help them get clean and sober. And so it was a good job, and I had a great time. I worked in Santa Fe, and then I transferred over to Las Vegas. And then, I met my now wife, Cassandra.
Yeah.
And one night, state phone's ringing off the hook, and it was one of those weeks, where you get real hectic. And she says, "This is what you want to do for the rest of your life?" I said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And she said, "Did you have any other goal?" I said, "Yeah, I always want to go to law school." She said, "Go to law school then."
See, sometimes it's a good woman to like kind of, or just to put that little thought in her head, right?
And I said, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yeah, go to law school. Why not? What's holding you back?"
Yeah.
And so I took my LSAT, I applied, and I got accepted to South Texas in Houston.
Yeah.
And she said, "We're moving to Houston." And man, from that point on, it was all downhill from there.
See, dude, that's a dope story, dude. Like that. Sometimes, like we all have the ability to do great things, and sometimes it just takes the right person, right? Like the right ear to tell you, like, and you don't even think twice about it, right? Like you're like, cool. Because I feel like we get so caught up in like, should I do this? Should I not do this? And then you'll have like, people telling you to do it, and you're like, I don't know. And then the right person comes around and just tell you, and you're just like, easy, right?
Yeah, that's exactly
give it a second thought.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah,
exactly what happened.
No, man, that's dope. I love to hear that. Like to me, it's just one of those things, and it's put you here. So it's obviously been a great decision, and it's cool. So let's get into the business. So you graduated, you went to school. So what happened after that? Like what?
Yeah. So up in South Texas, we lived in Houston for 3 years during law school, and my wife loved it. She said, "Can we stay here?" And it was always my goal when I left to come back. We have a very bad short of attorneys here in northern New Mexico. And a lot of the attorneys that are here now are getting older. Yeah. They're retiring. And so we have a need for attorneys here in Las Vegas, Springer, Tucumcari, all these northern towns they just have a shortage. So we moved back. And I said, I got it. We have to move back. I took the bar during kind of the COVID craziness, and I remember taking the bar. I was sitting in a room with another person. We had to, have the mask and duct tape, the top, because I had glasses at the time and things like that. And so, anyway, the day we found out I passed the bar was a great day. It's fantastic. And I started my own law firm. And then we partnered with Advise eventually a little bit later on. But that's kind of what brought me back. It's just, I knew there was a need for attorneys here in Las Vegas, here in the North. And there's nothing like the mountains.
Yeah.
There's nothing like coffee on the front porch without hearing sirens, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like that type of stuff. And this is to me, one of the best places to raise a family because it's very family oriented.
Yeah.
I like to take my son hiking or walking outside or fishing or to the lake, as we were talking before.
5 minutes from fishing.
It's all right there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons we came back. And probably the other reason, and probably most important, was family.
Yeah.
Right. To me, a family is the most important. I can't be away from family.
And I think that's a great point you bring up. Like, the older I've gotten, the more I realized like how important that is to me. Like, and I didn't realize right. And then until I left. Yeah. And then it was like, once I left and I was like, man, so, I totally understand like everything you said, like it resonates with me really well. Like that's how I feel too, man. So like, I totally see why you came back and appreciate what you're trying to do for Northern New Mexico, man. That's cool. Of course. So you started your own law firm. Like, kind of tell us a little bit just about like how that got started and like what happened, and it led you to Advise, right?
Right. Yeah. So we started our own law firm right after we passed the bar. It was Castellano Law Firm LLC, and very common traditional kind of law firm name. We started it out of the house, and everyone said we were crazy for doing that. Attorneys all said, "I can't believe you're starting off on your own. I mean, you have no field experience. You have nothing." Yeah. And again, Cassandra, she said, "Do it. I mean, nothing is stopping you. Yeah. So just do it. At least you have the degree. If it doesn't work, you can find a job."
Right.
I said, "Okay, great." So we did it. And, we get back to Julio Garcia, who's my law partner and our, founding guy of Advise. And he'd call me on a case, or I'd call him on a case, kind of get some ideas from each other. And one day he was just like, what? We're already working together.
Yeah.
There's no need for two firms. We work well together. We talk issues through very well. We see the whole picture. And so he said, let's get together. Let's have our own firm and do some great things. And that's kind of where we're at now.
See, that's dope. That's a good story, right?
It's fantastic.
No, I love that. And that kind of goes into our next question, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit, where did the name come from? Do you have an idea? Advice?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, Julio Garcia started Advise. Mm-hmm. And he came up with the name and the logo, and he's fantastic at all that stuff. And so when we joined firms, right, we were saying, okay, are we going to keep Advise? Are we going to go with like the traditional Castellano Garcia law? Mm-hmm. And when we were talking about that, the traditional part was kind of, we want to be modern. So we do business as Advise, a modern law firm.
Yeah.
And so Advise is a very modern name. It's different from what you hear in your normal law firms, 100%. Right? And, I like to think of it as we advise our clients of the law. We advise of this, kind of
right.
It works in that way.
We're not like telling you, we're just giving you that. We're guiding.
Yeah, we're guiding you. And I loved it. And then I love the logo.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the logo a lot.
It's just modern, right?
Yeah.
And we try to fit that into because that's our business model. Is we're a modern law firm. We have our office here, but we primarily work from home. Everything's virtual. We try and accommodate the client. So we're not having a client drive to our office every day. Yeah. I mean, we go to homes, we Google Meets, Zoom, whatever it is to try and just be very modern.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where Advise came from. I know I probably guarantee Julio has a little bit of a little bit more of a backstory,
right.
But how we came up and how it kind of came to now is kind of, that's how it went.
No, that's cool, man. I love to hear stories like that. And actually, shout out to one of the viewers who suggested we should start asking people about the name. So that's we're gonna start asking people how they got their name. So, what pivotal moments would you say have like shaped or like your career right now, like your trajectory and like where you're headed? Like, is there anything in your life that's happened that kind of, I know you said Cass kind of got you to kind of take that next step. Is there anything else that kind of has pushed you to get to where you're at right now?
Not really. And here's why, is because it's kind of all flowed in to one, crazy event of meeting Cassandra. That really is where it's at, and I would have never taken the LSAT had she not suggested doing it, right? I would have never even applied. And here's the big thing too, is I would have never moved to Houston.
Yeah.
Because it was too far.
Yeah.
And being in a city, which is now the third largest in the United States, alone, that's not for me, man. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm probably coming back home the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was her that's like, I'll go with you. Yeah. Let's do it together, So I think in terms of one moment, it was probably that moment where she said, you need to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I'm here to help, That's probably where it was. My parents have pushed me to always just, follow my goals, follow my dreams, work hard, be a good person. I want to do that for my siblings. My grandparents have always said, do good, be happy, do your thing. But it's her that actually sat down and said, just do it. And here I am, man.
See, and now you're doing that for other people.
And now we actually, exactly. Yeah. Right. And then now, and now we have a child, right? We got a little boy. And so that's another moment in my life that I think, our career was great, but I had to step it up.
Yeah.
Right. Because I got a little one now, and we're getting a family, and that to me pushed me to be a better attorney, because I just seen him. I got to do good and do good in this world for him. Right.
Yeah.
So he grows up seeing that type of thing.
See, that's awesome, man. And I feel like sometimes with kids, right? Like you could either have some people have two different things when they have kids, right? It either changes you for the better, or you kind of run away from those responsibilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. That's good to know, man, that it's helped you. And those moments, it's nice hearing that from other people, because I feel like sometimes we all kind of feel a little lost, And so now that you're doing well, and it's easy to look past that and think oh, he probably always had it together, right? He probably always knew he was going to be, So it's nice to hear stories like that, because even sometimes I feel hey, what am I doing? And then I come and have these moments and I'm like, no, I'm right where I need to be. So that's cool. That makes me happy to know that.
Yeah.
So.
And I think a lot of times too, we get a little complacent, right?
Absolutely.
Like with us. I mean, I had a great job with the state. I love my job with the state. We got to help people. I was working with attorneys. I was in courtrooms.
Yeah.
We were visiting people in their homes, trying to make their life better. How can I help them make their life better?
Yeah.
And so I got I had a paycheck, all that good stuff, right? And retirement. But like you said, you look back and you say, I'm okay now, but I want to be somewhere else. I want to do this. I want to get better. I want to have, extracurricular activities like this. We're able to have this type of stuff, and this is fun. This is something. And like you said, this is where we want to be right now, right?
Exactly.
This is what we want to be doing.
Yeah, it would be giving people and hopefully being an inspiration to someone else.
Yeah.
So, speaking of inspirations, who has been your biggest, aside from Cass? Because we don't Cass. Shout out to Cass.
We're gonna leave Cass out of this question.
But who aside from Cass, who's been your biggest influence on your work, or your philosophies, or just the way you approach life, man? Is there anyone that
Yeah, I think I have. If it's okay if I have multiple.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Here's why. I think there's a professional side and a personal side.
Sure, absolutely.
And so personally, it's been one family, most of my family. I think my grandma was probably the biggest, inspiration.
Yeah.
She was a go-getter. She was very direct.
Yeah.
She took care of her family. She provided. She just everything on the personal side. She was just one of my biggest inspirations,
Yeah.
Aside from my parents and just everybody, my grandma was just that person that she just inspired me to be good, right? Because she was just that person. Professionally, I've had a ton of mentors, man. Obviously, we talked about, Julio Garcia has been a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think mentors have to be extremely older or younger. They could be your peer.
Yeah.
And they're still a mentor to you in some sense. So Julio's been a great mentor to me. Brian Colon, he's a former state auditor and he's managing partner now of Singleton Schreiber. He has most recently become a mentor to me, and someone that gives you those good morning text messages like, hey, do good today. I'm here for you. I'm in your corner, that kind of stuff professionally it's huge, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So he's been a mentor, and I've had others like, Morgan Montano, he's a former national champion cross runner at Mexico Highlands. He was a coach of mine, a friend of mine. He's been a mentor in certain ways. It's hard to single certain ones out because throughout, every stage in my life, I've had somebody who's giving that word of encouragement. Somebody that's kind of pushed you when you're not really wanting to be pushed that day, or you're not wanting to, get over the hump. And so these are just ones that come to mind that have done that consistently and kind of been there.
So that's a great point. Like, I think sometimes we forget in our lives, because we go through different phases, right? We're always in different parts, that there's certain people for certain times of your life. And so that's a great point that you make. Like, you can have multiple people that you consider a mentor that like filled that need that you may have had at that point, right? Like you said, like sometimes motivation can come from anywhere, right? But that consistent source of pushing you to be the best version of yourself, like, like you can have multiple of those in your life, just depending on where you are and like what you're going through, and you never forget it. Like you really don't, like, because you always look back on, like, I feel like for me, like when I'm in a down or in like a low or like and it's just like in a hard spot, right? Like I always look back to when I wasn't it the last time to remind myself, like, you do get out of it, right? It does get better. And then I think back to like the people that push me, and like, that's when I think of them the most, is like I hear them in my head. And so that's good that you have multiple, because like you have multiple instances where you've seen like, hey, I can get out of anything, like, right? Like, I have these people and I have these inspirations that continue to push me and want to do better. So so I kind of wanted to ask you, what are some of the challenges you encountered along the way, or like that you have overcome that you kind of look back on, like we were just talking about, to get you to this point?
So I wasn't always the best student. Right. And GPA wasn't always the greatest. So my work experience to get into law school actually helped me, because GPA wasn't great. I wasn't a great student to start.
Totally related to that.
Because it wasn't great. And even in law school, my first semester was not a great semester. And I had to learn how to study different, to learn how to do things different. And so I had to adjust. So that was a challenge for me. And that's a challenge I overcame just to get through law school. And I think probably one of the biggest ones just to get my law license was COVID in 2020 is the year I graduated. So they shut down school in March of 2020. It was all virtual from March to May.
Oh, shoot.
And I was scheduled to take the bar in July. And mind you, at this whole time, we just had a loss. My grandma passed in May of 2020. My son was born June of 2020.
Oh my gosh.
And this whole time I'm studying for the bar exam. The whole time. And
that's
so
a lot.
It was a lot going on. Well, then in June, they pushed the bar exam back to September.
Oh man.
But everything's still closed. So now I have a newborn, and I have a great picture that Cassandra took. It's me in my study room studying for the bar, and I have my son Emilio. His name's Emilio, and he's a couple days.
Oh shoot!
And I'm studying for the bar, and he's asleep on me. And to me, that was probably one of the greatest challenges, but greatest accomplishments that I ever experienced. Because it was studying for the bar itself, hands down, one of the hardest things I've ever done. But you throw in COVID, a newborn, newlyweds, like all this, we moved in with my grandfather because my grandma had passed. So we were taking care of him. It kind of all just was one big challenge. And so to me, we overcame that. And, I believe I'm a faithful guy. I believe in faith, and that helped me through. My wife, of course, I'll give her shout outs anytime. Give you a heads up.
That's awesome.
I went to school there, so she's great. Family was great. Everyone helped to kind of get through that odd period of time.
No, that's awesome, man. That's such a great story. And like thinking, like when you're describing school, like that's like, obviously I didn't go to law school, but just hearing how you're talking about, like, you weren't the greatest student, but you figured out a way. Like that was me, right? Like when I was in school, I was so quick to just put myself down and be like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. Right. And then I kind of learned through that like ability to apply myself and hard work. That story, I think, will help a lot of people, right? To understand, like, because again, I think sometimes people see successful people and they think like, oh, they probably always had it together, right? They're probably like the best student, and you're just over here like, dude, I had to grind it out.
That wasn't great at all. Yeah, it wasn't great. And it started since my, high school wasn't bad. I was a decent student. I was still an athlete. So for me, it was always homework on the road games or at home.
Mhm.
It wasn't too bad. College was different. In my first semester of college, just like my first semester of law school, I had to learn how to, you study different.
Yeah.
You have a lot of more time on your hands in college, right? Like, there's a lot more to do
Yeah, no,
than anything else. And so I had to learn how to adjust to that.
Yeah.
Same thing for law school. You just have to learn how to adjust. And it like you said, it transfers into life. You have to learn how to adjust to what's going on around you, your surrounding environment. You have to learn how to adjust. If you can adjust, you're going to be successful in your own right? You're going to be in your own way. You're successful as long as you can adjust and make whatever situation work for you. You'll be successful. Yeah.
So as far as like your business and the law firm and everything, like how do you see it evolving within the next 5 to 10 years? Like what are your plans and your partner's plans? Like do you guys have any plans to kind of take it to the next level or just, kind of branch out?
Yeah, I definitely think I see Advise becoming a very large firm.
Yeah.
I definitely think that we're on the track to grow very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
Not in terms of just clients, but in terms of having to probably hire associate attorneys and some more support staff. But that's the goal, right? The goal is to grow. I think more importantly, the goal is to continue to give the best legal representation that we can to our clients.
Yeah.
Right. That's our ultimate goal that will never ever change. Right. That's going to continue until, Advise shuts down.
Yeah.
Is to continue to give the best legal representation to our clients and continue to assist the people in northern New Mexico as much as we can. And I think that's the biggest goal right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I love that. I never used to believe in that saying like, oh, what's your 5 to 10 year plan? Right. I wouldn't say personally, like I have like a direct one, but I know where I want to be. Right. And it wasn't until I started thinking about that type of stuff along with, the change of mindset and like that it's helped me get in better positions, right, to be successful. Because before that, I was just going with the flow. Right. And so now like having these plans and having these things that I want to work towards, like it definitely helps a ton.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So a couple more questions and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone maybe looking to get into the legal side of things or just kind of take that next step in their life or just, personal stuff in general? Like, I don't know, any advice you want to give anybody?
Yeah. If it's on the law school side, take the chance.
Yeah.
Take the chance. You'll never know unless you take that chance. If you're interested on it, do your research, what it takes. You got to take your LSAT and, take your LSAT, try it. If you enjoy it, apply to law school. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Take that chance.
Right.
All that can happen is, you don't succeed,
right?
But you tried.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if you're comfortable where you're at right now, you have a very good job, you're comfortable in your life, take the chance because, you still got that job. You're still going to continue to do what you're doing. Right. On the personal side, I think it's, any advice that I could give would probably be do what's going to make you happy. Even if it's scary.
Yeah.
Right. It always leads me back to that conversation with Cassandra when we started the firm and be on our own right away. I knew it's what I wanted and it was going to make me very happy because I wasn't having to go into a 8 to 5 but it was scary.
Yeah.
It's a very scary feeling. And so, do what's going to make you happy, even if it's scary. Take that chance.
All right. No, I love it. Balancing act. So I wanted to get into this. I know you're big into family and we talk about this. You have a kid, maybe more.
One on the way.
Hey,
actually.
Oh, shoot.
This is breaking news right here. I mean, not very many people know too much.
All right. So I'm just asking the right questions. You see, so
that's it.
But I love that, man. And like, how do you manage all that? How do you balance that? Because I know this side of things is definitely stressful. Like there's a lot involved, but how do you manage and you're always with your family. So yeah.
It's challenging. But I think one of the best things that I do is I prioritize family first.
Yeah.
And, I always try to schedule something around if there's a family something that day. There's a lot of somethings in that answer there. But what I'm trying to say is I'm very big on never missing a doctor's appointment for our son. Now that we're, expecting a child, I'm very big on not wanting to ever miss an appointment for the baby. I'm big on, I need to be there because I want to be there every chance I get. And so if it's an appointment on Thursday, I'm going to make sure that I schedule what I have to do around that appointment because it's about being present. Right. And so I think it's stressful because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 to 8 p.m. It's booked. Right. But it's still, it's worth it to know that I'll still have that time.
Yeah.
I think another thing that was big for us was I get to work from home.
Yeah.
And, I've got to see my child grow.
Yeah.
I've got to be there where he, comes in during a court hearing and I have to, do the arm,
like, do the dad,
get out, Yeah. And those types of things have kind of helped to where I'm working, but I'm still present. I'm still with family. Right. So that's been one of the hardest parts. Another thing is, Cassandra does a lot of some of my scheduling.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm not going to schedule you tomorrow because you have something with us. Right. Yeah. So that makes it a lot easier. And I think our business model works into allowing us to have that flexibility to work for ourselves. Yeah. And, Julio Garcia, again, I jump back to Julio's. He's been great about that too, family's important, and having that quality of life is important. And so that's what we try and prioritize at Advise.
No. Yeah. That's awesome, man. And I love that. And again, it's very easy to get overwhelmed and overwork yourself and get lost in your work. So your ability to be able to always go back and still find time for your family, I think that's amazing. And it's going to keep you grounded, and give you that ability to just get away from it. We were talking about working, having Fridays off, right?
Right.
Friday's family day. And I love that. That's such a great thing to have. And I'm hoping I can maintain my 410s for the rest of my working career. And so I can make that my family day, right? So I love that. Are there any tools or resources or anything in particular that you would advise people to look into that maybe helped you along the way?
We're talking about law school, if they're wanting to go to law school?
Yeah, we could law school, or even just in general, maybe there was something that you read or a book or something that maybe changed your perspective a little bit. Yeah.
There's a few. So if somebody's interested in the law school side, definitely do your research, find a school that, fits for you, do your research into the LSAT. There's programs out there, Westlaw, Nexus, Barbary, those type of programs that can help you study. Definitely study before and get that done. On the personal side, I've read The Art of War.
Great book. I love that book. Super easy to read too.
Mine's a condensed version too, so it's even easier. It's maybe 100 pages. It's just super easy.
Nice. Check it out. Definitely.
Definitely. And have Play Like a Champion. I've read that book.
Heard of that one?
Yeah.
Who wrote that one?
I believe it was John Wooden.
Okay. Oh, you're right. I think. So if you get a chance, if you like that book, I have one for you. Just now we're on topic of this. It's called. It's from Tim S. Grover. Oh my gosh, he was Michael Jordan's strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, okay.
Great book though. I'm pretty sure they probably crossed a lot of the same similar things. But
probably. Yeah, I'd love to read that.
Yeah. I'll have to remember the name of it. I'll get a thing posted of it, and then I'll get it shot over to you. Great book, dude. If you read that one is one that I've heard about that I've been suggested, but you should definitely check that one out.
You're gonna get to me.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember the name of it, and I'm so hurt because I know you're a big Dan Hurley fan.
Yeah,
I love because I'm a big UConn fan. So
Dan Hurley has a book.
Yes. Well, the art of something. Oh shoot! But he's always sharing stuff.
Yeah,
I see you sharing it all the time too, and I'm always laughing because I'm like, I don't know if he knows that I'm a huge UConn fan.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I went to the Final Four and watched them play Purdue this year. When they won the championship. Yeah, dude. That's nice. My god, it was one of the best moments of my life. Dude.
UConn's a great program.
Yeah, dude.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know we're getting a little off topic.
Yeah, sorry. I know.
But I like it. I like it. I love Dan Hurley because I love his practices.
Yeah.
His practices are he uses the KISS philosophy.
Yeah.
And what the KISS philosophy is, keep it simple. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, I see these drills that he does with his team that are probably some of the simplest drills you'll ever see.
Right.
But they have such a huge impact on the play.
Mm-hmm.
And I coach basketball at West. I'm an assistant varsity coach with,
shout out to that too.
Shout out to Coach Ryan Aragoni, head coach there. He's fantastic. He's great. I try and show the guys these, Dan Hurley stuff because it's not all about the fancy stuff, guys.
Yeah.
It's about the basics, the fundamentals. He's fantastic. He played for,
Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he's great, man. I love that guy.
Yeah. We'll have to get more, into this, dude. But
he has a book. There's also another book by Lance Armstrong.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. Coach, when we talked about kind of mentors, Morgan Montano gave me that book my senior year, and it talks about how he worked through all his issues and all that stuff. That's a great book as well. There's a few, man, that I just love to have, man.
No, those are cool. I always try to put people onto the things that help me, because I know sometimes we're like, oh, I don't really dive too much into like self-help books or just stuff like that. But for me, that changed my life, right? Like reading that and hearing those stories. So I'm always encouraging people, like, if you have anything like that, to share that, because you never know, right? Someone might pick up that book just because they heard you talk about it and then be like, man, that really had a big impact on me. So I appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes people don't want to share that stuff, right? They want to keep that stuff to themselves. And I'm a big advocate for, like, the only way we can grow is, like, I share my knowledge because I have nothing to hide, right? Like, at the end of the day, you still have to go read the book, right?
Right.
So, if I can help someone else, and so I appreciate you sharing that stuff, man. It means a lot to me.
There's one more.
Yeah,
There's one more audio book right now that I'm listening to by Coach K, Mark Krzyzewski, for the former Duke coach, the legendary one. I can't remember the name. I'm listening to it, but I'll get it to you. That is if you want to know how to be a leader and still relate to people.
Yeah.
So you're not leading from the front, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you're not saying, follow me.
Absolutely.
You're saying, walk with me. Let me show you. And we're going to all go together. That's one book that is just, Coach K is fantastic. And that book will really kind of put a lot of life perspective. It's about basketball, but you can apply his principles to just life in general.
Yeah.
Talking to people, being courteous and respectful, reading people.
Right.
He does it. So I'll get it to you. And if you can share it or something, however that works.
Yeah.
That's a great
maybe put like a screenshot of it. Yeah. Like, just to kind of jump on that real quick, and then we'll get into our last couple of questions. One of the things that I always try to stress to people, and I think is so important, is like, especially like when you look at like NBA coaches, right? Or like, because college is a little bit different, right? You're still dealing with kids and like 18-year-old kids, but like in the NBA, I think there's a difference between being a leader and then a leader of men, right? Like, and I think it's a skill to that, right? To have, like, it's to get so many different people with already their formed opinions and who they think they are and like that are making money. And it's like to be able to show them and guide them, like that's a skill that I think very few have, right? Like John Wooden, Coach K, Dan Hurley, like all these guys can get grown men to buy into what they're saying. And that's different. And that's, like you said, like, it's more of a, like, lead with me, right? Like, I'm going to do the work with you versus like a follow me approach. And so that's great. You'll have to get that to me, because I'd be definitely down to read it. Yeah. Okay. Last couple questions. What mark do you hope to leave, like, when you're all said and done? Like, what legacy do you want to leave, in doing all this, man? Like, what do you envision for yourself whenever you're all said and done?
I just hope to be remembered as somebody who, just did the best he could. For the people that he helped. We do a lot of pro bono work. We do a lot of legal affairs, and, that's important to us. And so I want to, I don't want to be, that the attorney that just wanted the money, right? Because it's not what we're here for, what we do. So I just want to be remembered as somebody who helped people, somebody that was there when people needed the help. I'm gonna be remembered as a good husband, a good father for sure, and a good mentor to people that hopefully I mentor, or who look at me as a mentor. Like some of our basketball players or anybody like that who believes in the things that we're doing here. I just want to make sure that I'm setting a good example for them.
Right.
And if at the end of the day, people remember you for being a good person, you did well on this earth. And so, as long as we can continue to be good people, and that's kind of my goal, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, and I love it. I think you're doing a great job. You're definitely leading by example. Because I know that I'll see the things that you're doing, and like I said, dude, it inspires me. Like, especially like talk about being like a family man and being a good husband and stuff like that. Like, I see how you're always together, and like even just the things that you talk about, and like, you know, that's what I would hope for my future. And so, yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing, and like, again, leading by example. Like, it's just awesome to watch you, and like, I hope that we continue this friendship forever, and we do maybe do more of these in the future, and keep it going, man. So, shout out to my co-producer Levi, and he also brought up the fact that you have a foundation. So, if you want to talk a little about your foundation, also how you helped with the fire, the Hermit's Peak fire that just happened now, and how you're helping people, speaking of doing like pro bono work and stuff like that. So, if you want to get into that real quick.
Yeah. So Cassandra and I started the Castellano Foundation, and we're hopeful that will be around long after her and I are both gone.
Yeah.
And hopefully our son, legacy, right? And so what the Castellano Foundation is our mission is to provide meaningful contributions to children and families and veterans in our community. And how do we do that? We have Thanksgiving meals, Christmas meals. We do back to school backpack drives.
It's perfect time for this, by the way.
Perfect time.
We're pretty close. Yeah. Like, we're literally like a couple weeks from Thanksgiving. So.
And so we just try and help. That's it. That's what it's for, right? People that need help, kids that need help. We're here to serve. And so, that's what the foundation was for. It was, I get back to Cassandra. You might have to edit some of the Cassandras out, man, but, she was really the one that had the idea.
Yeah.
She said, I want to do a nonprofit. And I said, okay, let's do it. And we started it. She's our executive director. She runs it. She's the main person behind the scenes and doing everything that needs to be done. And when
you have a website?
We do, thecastellanofoundation.com.
Cool.
That was a
no
plug right there. I love that.
No, because I can use that and it'll help me put stuff back in. So shout out to that.
Great. Yeah. And so for the fire, we kind of sat back and said, how can we help? What do we need to do? And so Cassandra coordinated three separate events where we gave out clothes, toiletries, water, food, dog food. I mean, kind of the works. And we had one in Las Vegas and two in Mora. And, we were completely cleared out on on all three. And it all from donations from people. So, everyone in the community, we had people donating from Utah, out of state, in Alaska. I mean, they were from everywhere donating to our cause. And then we said, okay, what more can we do?
Yeah.
And so we started hooking up our trucks and our cattle haulers, and we called ranchers. Do you need help moving your cattle? And so we moved cattle. We moved horses. We just helped. Whatever that was needed, we were there to help. And, it was very good. We applied for a grant. We got a grant for $20,000. And, members from Mora and San Miguel all got a gift card and were able to purchase a new freezer for, some of the meat and stuff that they had. And from that, since the fire to now, it's been kind of the same, right? We just back to school drives. We do, we're planning on hopefully getting a veterans event for Veterans Day on the 11th. We're hoping to help the city of Las Vegas, promote their veterans event and maybe have coffee and donuts for veterans that, attend that ceremony, which is, it's a happy ceremony and it's a little somber at the same time, but it's a very nice event, and to be able to give back to our veterans is huge. So that's kind of what the foundation is. And, we're looking at growing more. We want to give scholarships to children of veterans.
Yeah.
We want to give scholarships to, children who experience kind of those trials in life that they had to overcome just to graduate high school.
Yeah.
We want to do that. And eventually we're going to get there. And hopefully we leave that to our children to continue running, and they leave it to their children and that great grandchildren running to where it can continue to be that.
It's got like a
positive.
Yeah. Like you said, it continues forever.
Yeah.
No, man, that's awesome. I'm so happy that Levi brought that back up. Yeah. It's such a good thing to talk about and talk about the legacy. And I feel like that's a good example of who you are as a person, right? Like everything that we talked about today, like when you brought up the foundation and like what you're trying to do and like the things that you've been doing, like I feel like it all comes back to that, right? Your core beliefs and who you are. And No, man, this has been cool. Like, it's been cool
great.
getting to know you, and I've definitely enjoyed this. I'm super happy we got to do this. I'm hoping people watch this and they get a better sense of who you are. And yeah, man, good stuff coming in the future. So, all right, well, that's it for the tough questions.
Thank you.
Now we get to get into the fun questions. This is the fun part. All right, so I'm gonna ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
You're just gonna run them off the top of your head. You don't have to think too hard about them. If you want to add more depth to them, you can. But we're gonna have fun with this.
Okay.
Okay, so in the spirit of the holidays, and since Thanksgiving's right around the corner, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Turkey and salad, but I like my turkey with salad dressing.
Okay. Oh, quick side question to that. Do you put red chili on your mashed potatoes or do you put gravy?
Red chili.
All right, that's a New Mexico thing. I figured I'd ask that. Would you rather speak every language in the world or talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Talk to animals? I agree. I think I would rather talk to animals.
It's a whole different world, man. It's a whole different world.
Like I need to call an elk over here or something. Like come give me a ride. Like can you imagine being up the canyon or something?
Or tell me where your buddies are at.
Yeah, exactly. What is your superpower? Who would you say is your superpower?
That's a good one. That's tough.
Yeah, not like
Okay, that's
superpower. Like what is your superpower?
I can drink a ton amount of coffee.
That's
I could drink a bunch of coffee.
I thought you were gonna say like I'm driven or something.
Oh no, we're going deep like that, but I could drink a ton of coffee.
No, I love that answer.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, no, it really is because people can like little bits of coffee and they go off the edge and so.
Yeah.
Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
Family day.
Family day.
Got it. Go to Gatorade color.
Blue.
All right.
Yeah. So specifically, it's the blue. What is it? Blue ice.
Blue ice.
Blue
Okay.
ice.
So interesting is like the more I've asked people this question, the more I'm surprised that like blue is like most people's favorite. Because I'm like a yellow. I'm like yellow Gatorade.
Really?
Yeah, but like see the way you say,
I don't even look for yellow. I don't even see yellow Gatorade. So
that's the first thing I grab is the yellow Gatorade. Liquor or beer?
I'm a whiskey guy.
Okay.
Top shelf whiskey, Redbreast is probably my favorite. But Miller Lite is my go-to.
Okay, cool. That's a good question. You could say it depends on the situation.
Depends.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay. Cool.
Sure.
Favorite place to eat?
Boring.
Okay. We like asking this question because I'm trying to get into like going to people's places. So
boring.
Get boring.
Yeah.
Ideal day off activity.
Summer, it would be at the lake. Winter, probably just hanging out at home.
Hey,
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. Hey, Northern Mexico winters, you know how it is.
Yeah,
it's cozy football on Sundays.
Yeah.
You know, so favorite junk food.
Probably Reese's Cup.
Oh man, I love Reese's.
Yeah.
Okay. And last question: what song do you pick to get you hyped up?
That's tough.
Yeah, you got to think of one.
That's tough. If I had to like right now, just go on to it, it'd just probably be anything by Def Leppard.
Okay. Anything by Def Leppard.
Anything by Def Leppard.
Gotta find that. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for doing this. That's the last question. We're all done. Now you have the rest of your day and I'll get out of your hair and then all that's left to do is all the work. But thank you again, man. I really appreciate this. Like I said, if it's not for you doing this, I have nothing to record. And again, like I want people to see how amazing you are and hear your story and hopefully inspire someone else. And so it means a lot to me that you did this. So thank you so much.
And thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, man, hopefully we can do more of this stuff and maybe we'll go to Bull Ring and we'll get you on a video at Bull Ring or something.
Hey, sounds good to me.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And yeah, that's what's good.